Hi, I'm Ryan, and you're watching Arts for the Masses. The arts are alive in Massachusetts, and I'm the lucky guy who gets to bring them to you. I was just thinking this morning about some of my favorite plays, old chestnuts that have been done for years and years and years, and it got me thinking, everything old once was new. And here in Massachusetts, we are so lucky that we have so many talented, gifted playwrights that are writing original new works. And we are so blessed to actually have the theaters that are willing to take a risk and produce these new works. Today I'm going to be speaking with Moonbox Productions, based right out of Boston. They just finished up a fabulous New Works Festival, and coming up, they're going to be premiering two brand new plays by local playwrights. Stick around, you're not going to want to miss it. Welcome to the show. So like I mentioned earlier, Moonbox Productions is premiering two brand new productions coming up. These are plays written by local playwrights and being directed and performed right in the center of Boston. And I'm so excited to speak about the first play, which is called The Good Deli. Joining us is Kevin Cerrone, who is the playwright, and our director is Allison Choate. Welcome.
Thanks you so much for having us.
So I always like to speak with the playwright first because it is their piece. They are taking some ownership right from the beginning. So Kevin, I was hoping you could just tell me in a nutshell what this brand new play is all about.
Absolutely. So the story really centers around Julia, who's this Boston comedian, and things begin when she's summoned frantically home by her stepmother, expecting to find her estranged father on his deathbed. Turns out he's not. He's, seemingly the same sort of curmudgeon that he always was, though he is becoming increasingly sentimental about an Italian deli that the family visited when Julia was a child. So when his health takes a number of turns, Julia finds herself in a position to try to to find this deli and to try to, give her father, the sandwich of his dreams and sort of have that kind of experience with him. And so, trying not to, flee from the situation with her family and leaning on some unexpected kinships along the way, she agrees to take a road trip with the family to find this deli in Boston and, try to reconnect with her family and try to reconnect with her father, trying to find this deli that may or may not even exist. So, I mean, that's it. And I tried not to quote the logline completely directly, but really the play, it's a lot about the search for connection, but also like reconnection and sort of maintaining those relationships over time. And, through it all, there's comedy, there's drama, there's heart, there's a little sex, there's some romance, and there's a lot of laughs, if I do say so myself. So,
now this is a real Boston play. Are you driving right? It takes place in Boston. Are we going to get some of those Boston dialects? Are we going to hear those authentic voices?
There is a touch of Boston dialect in there. It's more of a cameo than a leading player, I would say. But we do touch on that. There's a lot of Boston. It's sort of taking place. The road trip is heading to East Boston, and there's a certain amount of time spent in Maine as well, where the family originally is from.
Now, I'm curious, and I've also heard that you drew from many personal experiences. Is there a little bit of autobiographical storytelling happening in this piece, Kevin?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this play sort of started as this kind of semi-autobiographical story. It was sort of a way of processing some events that were happening with, like, my own father during some serious medical problems, combined with this kind of Griswoldian road trip that we as a family also took to find a deli in the the eastern part of the state. So it was. It was that's sort of a coping way of using art to sort of cope with those sorts of things. And then since then, these characters have really grown into themselves and evolved, and this play really has like a life of its own. There are still some Easter eggs in there that certain people will very much enjoy, both in my family and in the Boston theater community as a whole, I hope.
Now, I might be wrong, but has Moonbox been helping you develop this piece for a while?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, it's still this was we've still been developing it as the process has gone on. It experienced a couple of pandemic-related reschedulings, and so that actually was a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, obviously, we've been wanting to do this play for a while, so excited to finally bring it to you. But it also had a little extra time to be developed and to go through some more rewriting and some more development, and Moonbox was, of course, instrumental in that process.
I know you've had some other plays published before. Tell me a little bit more about the works that you've written in the past, and maybe how this piece is similar or different than what you've done before.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, so this is my first full-length straight play. I've had a slew of like 10-minute plays. Those have landed in like the Boston Theater Marathon and a few other places. I did have my first commissioned work last year. There was a Zoom play that was based somewhat on the January 6th riots. Umbrella Theater Company produced that. And then before that, I did a full-length musical called Creative License, and that went to the New York International Fringe Festival. And I was involved in both a production and an acting capacity in that show as well. So obviously, it's sort of a broad set of works. Obviously, this one's not a musical, and so that's one big difference. But I think this is also, I mean, it's sort of a culmination of I'm an alumnus of the Kennedy Center playwriting program. It's been a lot of learning experiences and development and rewrites and broadening and elevating the work. So I think I'm very proud of where the play is at right now. I do think it's different than anything I've ever done. I do think it's better than everything I've ever done. Hopefully people agree. I'm really excited to have this on its feet finally.
It's just so exciting to have these opportunities for playwrights to continue to grow in this capacity and to be able to have a full mounting of a new work. So often when theaters are picking out their seasons, you want to have those chestnuts, of course, those big crowd pleasers. And Moonbox does such a nice job of balancing old and new and then creating this wonderful space to foster these brand new productions. And they just had that wonderful New Works Festival, which was just mind-blowing that there were so many incredible new works being produced right there, 7 or 8 plays right in that one complex of a building. It was awesome. Allison, were you a part of that New Works Festival at all?
I was actually. I was active in my role as associate artistic director and founding partner of Moonbox. So, administrative things. I was on the play reading committee. We actually had a costume designer who had to drop at the last minute. So I did step in and do a costume design as well, which was something I haven't done in about a decade. So that was a fun challenge and reminded me of the real scramble of putting something together at the last minute. But the atmosphere in the New Works Festival was just unbelievable. I couldn't be prouder of how it went. I couldn't be prouder of our playwrights, and the whole atmosphere just felt like going to a theme park or something. What ride are you on next? Where are you? What are you seeing today? We had repeat patrons coming back to see different shows. We had playwrights and actors going to one another's shows, and it just felt like this wonderfully supportive, festive atmosphere, especially after coming out of the pandemic where things have been so comparatively quiet and dark.
So I've got to ask, did you have first dibs on picking this play and getting to direct it? How were you matched up with this collaboration?
Well, Kevin actually helped us conceive of the New Works Festival. And new work is something that has been really important to Moonbox for a long time. But as a smaller company, it's difficult for us to program it into our seasons because we produce fewer plays. So Kevin had spoken a little bit with Sharmi, who's our artistic director, and Sharmi was excited about the prospect of maybe working on The Good Deli or working on other new works. And Kevin and I decided to get together and have a meeting just to talk over the script, to talk over the idea of new works. And quite frankly, the moment I read the script, I called dibs. I really wanted to work on this play. It's so good. Kevin is probably tired of hearing me say it. But it's just a wonderful, funny, genuine script. I think all the characters really stand in their own right. They're very believable. They're very interesting. And I just fell in love with it right away. And I said, I really want to work on this if you will let me. And he said yes. So I've been very lucky to be involved with it for quite some time now.
So what's it like tackling a new work? You don't have any images that you can Google of this is what they did before, and you don't have any YouTube bootlegs to say, oh, and this is how that performer did it. And how do you conceptualize, and what's your approach to building this play and creating this environment from ground up?
I think that's a really excellent point. I actually am not a fan of watching reference material of prior productions of any play that I do, unless it's to make sure that I'm not duplicating someone else's work. I think it's so important to approach each script, whether it's new or old, with as much freshness as you possibly can and with as independent a take as you possibly can. So for me, reading the script is obviously the first step, but even when casting begins, that's when I begin to see the play take shape. And often actors who audition for me will cause me to rethink scenes or roles or even the entire play based on the perspectives that they bring into the room. So I think the real joy and specificity of a new work is being able to have those collaborations influence the play even more deeply. And I think we're fortunate in that Good Deli has come to us in a really good shape, and there hasn't been that much we've needed to work on in the rehearsal process from a playwriting perspective. But even every now and then, if an actor should say, oh, this line feels funny in my mouth, I don't think that this is what I would say, we've had the opportunity to tweak that a little bit and refine it. So in many ways, it's not that different from the way I approach a lot of other works, but it has its own unique excitement because it is so new.
So let's talk about that a little bit more. You say that little things are tweaking here and there, and Kevin, you're performing in the play as well. Is that do you guys bash heads a little bit, or is it sort of an honor, or does it make it more easy to say, okay, Kevin, let's rework it? What do you think they would say? What can we? What's that process like?
Kevin is giving me a pointed look. So I think one of my usual approaches to directing is to ignore stage directions, very frequently because they're the legacy of a prior production. It's just however the show was originally staged. But Kevin has a very specific vision for this play that is almost cinematic. We really move from time and place a lot. There's a lot of visual elements to the show and the way that things fit together. And so there have been a couple of times when I have tried it my way, and I just end up going back to the script and just saying, this is what Kevin has envisioned, and it actually works far better than anything else we could try. So it's mostly just been a process of me continually validating him as an artist and him being very gracious about it.
I could chat with you forever. Time is flying by so quickly. What do you hope audiences will take away from this as the playwright and as the director? What's the experience you're hoping that they'll have at the theater?
At the end of the day, I want people to be entertained. I want them to be moved. I think these are characters that'll resonate with people on a lot of different levels. I think they're very realistic characters and people that we would likely meet. And so, at the end of the day, if they take something away from that, or if they felt something, something new or something that moved them, then I'm obviously happy.
Yeah, I think I feel something very similar. I hope that people respond to the play the way I did. I was blown away by the quality of the writing, by the relatability of the characters, and the fact that it is though it is a genuine, heartwarming, funny story, it's not a pat or predictable story, and it doesn't come to expected points. It really takes you for a ride with twists and turns and unexpected moments. So, if I could wish for anything for the people watching this script, it would just be to enjoy it as much as I have and as much as I'm continuing to as we work on it.
Awesome. Well, I have to cut this out because I've got the team coming in from the new play Jonathan right after you. So thank you for joining us. I can't wait to see the show. All these shows are playing in rep starting September 15th at the Boston Center for the Arts Plaza Theater, and we'll get all that information out there. Take care and break legs.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Like I said, Moonbox is doing 2 world premieres in rep, and the other show that they're premiering is a new play called Jonathan. And I'm very lucky to have Beth Peters, who is the playwright, and Brad Ranking, who is the director. They're both joining me. Hi, welcome to Arts for the Masses.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for having us.
My pleasure. So this is a world premiere, so no one has heard of it before, so I'd like to go to the playwright first, and Beth, maybe you can, in a nutshell, tell me what this brand new play is all about.
Well, Jonathan is about a young man with autism who has gotten his first job at a big box store, and it is the week before Christmas. So the play is about his time on the job and mixing that with his home life and a friendship that he's trying to create with one of his coworkers.
So what was your inspiration in writing this piece? Is it similar or different to other pieces you've written?
Well, my inspiration actually came from a real life experience I had at a big box store on Christmas Eve, at this point, maybe 8 years ago. And I wrote a 10-minute play based on an experience I had where I saw a young man, similar to Jonathan, being treated very badly on Christmas Eve. And it was really impactful to me. And I made a 10-minute play out of it a long time ago. And since then, I kind of have grown the play by collaborating with other artists and doing a couple readings of the show into this full-length work.
Tell me about some of the other plays you've written in the past. You said that there was a shorter version of a play similar to Jonathan, but what else is in your repertoire from past productions?
Yeah, well, as an author, I actually, I am a theater teacher and a theater maker, but I've been focused more as an author in poetry writing, and I'm also writing a book right now. So this is actually the first full-length play I've written probably in a good 15 years, since right after college. I've written a lot of shorter pieces that have been done around town by Fresh Ink and by Boston Actors Theater, but this is the first actually full-length play that I've written in a long time.
It's really exciting, and we have Brad coming on in to direct. Brad, how were you matched or paired together with this particular play, and what's the process been like so far?
Yeah, I love talking about this. So Beth and I have known each other for a long, long time. And so once upon a time at my birthday party 2.5 years ago, Beth mentioned that this play that she had written was going to get a premiere. And I am an actor, so as well. So we had talked about me being in it, and she had told me all about it. I was so excited about it. And then, of course, March 2020 happened. And then I heard through the grapevine it was happening again. So it just like kind of kept popping up in my life. And then I saw that the posting for the director job was up. And I said, I'm going to do it. It scares me, so I'm going to interview for it. And I did. I put together a little pitch, and it was like magic in our like initial conversation about the play and what it should be and who should be represented by it. It was just like, yeah, this is the right team for it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about representation, because this play does feature a character who is on the autism spectrum, who is neurodiverse. What's it like telling this story and showing this diversity and inclusion on stage?
Well, I think that, from the outset, even starting 2 years ago and even before that, in conversation with Moonbox about producing this play, our commitment to making sure that that there's representation not only on the stage, but that for the whole staffing of the production, including our stage management team, the people involved in marketing the play, that we really wanted to make sure that that neurodiversity was represented and other types of disability were also represented in our staffing and in our casting. And I think that we've achieved that. And I think that we're also, Brad can speak to this too. The way Brad and I work together naturally is that we have an incredibly inclusive rehearsal process. We are always checking in with staff and checking in with the cast about how they feel about lines, how they feel about the characters, how they're feeling about the growth of the arc of the play, and is the story authentic? We keep asking ourselves, is the story authentic? And getting that feedback from everybody in the room, and including inviting people that have nothing to do with the production to come in and give us feedback all along the way. So that's been something that we've prioritized from the beginning.
I have to ask then, so, Beth, have you been in the room then for rehearsals, and have things changed at all in the script? Have you had to make any? You're laughing, so I'm thinking that's a yes.
Yeah, so I have been in the room. Brad and I started the process of rehearsing and kind of made a commitment to be. We literally sit next to each other, and he has his binder out with his script, and I have my binder out with my script, and a million Post-its and some pens, and we've made a substantial amount of changes, actually. The arc of the play has stayed the same, but really, with our amazing cast and the staff in the room, we've been able to grow the story so substantially, and we've had the time to do that in our rehearsal process, which has been really a gift from the universe. It's like every night the story just gets fuller, and we find these moments and we want to keep them forever. So we got to put them in the script, or they'll disappear. It's kind of how we feel about it.
Brad, maybe you can fill me in a little bit about some of the themes that you've been exploring, and what your vision is for this play as the director taking on this new work.
Yeah, absolutely. What I said from the very beginning was that I didn't want this to be Jonathan with an exclamation point, that I wanted it to be a very human slice of life story about acceptance. And that's the word that I always keep coming back to. Every change that we make, every casting decision, every staffing decision, every piece of blocking, every transition, it's like, does it serve this overall word? Does it serve acceptance? And I think that's what I'm the proudest of as we are. It's crazy. We started last Monday, and we're entering tech next week. So it's been a really truncated process, but I feel like Beth and I both work the best under pressure. All of the changes keep coming to this one word, and we have this there's this separate little space in our rehearsal room that Beth and I go into, and we call it our room of requirement. We're like, is this right? Like, this is right. This is right. And I feel like we're just so very much on the same page about it staying this very human story. I made a comparison very early on. I was like, this isn't Curious Incident. That's already been done. What I want to do is a very sweet coming of age story about this teenager. That's what he is. He's 19. He's a teenager coming of age in a new environment, and all of the challenges that are thrown his way, but also the people that help him, his relationship with his mother, his relationship with a new coworker, which we have really, really developed a lot more than I think it was initially intended to be. And that's another product of our amazing cast is that one relationship. We were like, is that going to feel too teeny bopper, or is that going to feel too rom-com? And then with, human beings in front of us, it's like, no, it's exactly what it needs to be.
This question is for both of you, but what are you hoping audiences will take away from this play? What sort of experience at the theater do you hope that they will have?
This is a phenomenal question, because the last 24 hours, that's what Brad and I have literally been texting 24 hours a day, because we've been revising the ending of the play and trying to figure out exactly, and we've probably at this point have gone through 6 different iterations of this ending moment, and asking ourselves, what is the text and what is the movement and what happens with the sound and the lights? And that's what we keep coming back to, is what do we want the audience to go away with? And where we're at with that question now is that we want the audience to go away actually asking themselves questions about the issues that come up in the play. We don't want to give a direction. We don't want to give an answer. We don't want to pretend that the issues that come up in the play, that you can rubber stamp an answer on top of them and now everything's going to be great for all of these characters. But we want them to go away with a feeling of hope and an exploration, wanting to explore these issues in their own mind, in their own lives, in their own families.
Well, I just wanted to give you and the whole team an early bravo. I'm so excited for audiences to get a chance to see this. And of course, none of this could be done without the support from Moonbox Productions. What has it been like working with Moonbox and having this playground and this opportunity to produce a new piece?
The best. Yeah, the best. So I have worked with Moonbox many times as an actor, but this is my first time working with them behind the table. And everything that I knew to be true is true. Moonbox provides you a safe haven to do you. Sharmi, our amazing producer and artistic director of Moonbox Productions, founder, queen of the universe, all of the above, really does, her philosophy is, nope, I trust you, do it. She pops in on rehearsal from time to time, and she's on the rehearsal ports and we check in and everything like that. But I feel like Beth and I have really, it feels like we have been granted just that, this playground to say, what do we want to accomplish? And we have been provided all of the resources to do so. We have, the design team for this show is so stacked. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So it just feels like, we're rehearsing and performing in the Boston Center for the Arts. We have this incredible team assembled. Our staffing is amazing. Their safety protocols are top notch. Just everything from the top down is wonderful. I was scared of doing a new work, especially in these COVID theater times. But Moonbox is an amazing place to be doing it.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today on Arts for the Masses. All of the information for Jonathan and The Good Deli is available on Moonbox's website. Pick one, pick two. I don't know how you would pick. They both sound so fascinating, and it's just so exciting to be able to present new works, because everything old once was new. So without supporting these new playwrights and these brand new shows, what's the future of theater? We can't just keep rehashing everything forever. This is it. This is now. So go out there and support these productions. And thank you so much, Beth and Brad, for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having us.
So that brings me to the end of another episode of Arts for the Masses. If you're a local arts organization that could use a little love, come on by. You can check me out on artsforthemasses.com. If you'd like to do a video interview, I can host you here at WMCT TV Studios in Marlborough, Massachusetts, or we can do a virtual interview just like this one. Please stay in touch and take care.